proper alignment. So it's accessible to anybody at any age, regardless of your fitness level, regardless of what's going on in your body health-wise. We offer lots of modifications and props. So speaking of props, I like to use blocks to help bring the earth closer to me for most of our postures. So if you're blessed with long arms, you aren't going to need blocks or books. You can use firm books if you have them handy. If you don't have either of those available, most postures you can access by coming up onto the tips of the fingers rather than having a hand flat on the earth. I happen to have a meditation cushion, but you don't need one. You can stack folded beach towels or bath towels. You could even use pillows from your bedroom, anything that brings the hips up higher than the knees. Having said that, you do not need to sit. You can always kneel for postures. You can kneel over pillows or bolsters. And if you have cranky knees, you can put extra padding underneath. And you can also sit in a chair. So almost everything that we do together can be done from a seated position as well. Okay, so for today's practice, I don't know about everybody else, but my body's feeling super tight. So I thought I could offer a gentle practice and focus on the breath awareness and the awareness of movement. So bringing mindfulness to how we breathe, bringing mindfulness to how we stretch. We've talked about in the past how breathing is the single most powerful tool you have, the Dirga Pranayama, the 3-part breath, that you have to bring the body from a state of fight and flight into rest and digest. One of the things that we can do to help us with the mindfulness is to practice a mudra, which is a gesture of the hand or of the body. The mudras help bring mindfulness. And the theory is that the movements help with the flow of energy. So it's said that where the attention goes, the energy flows. I think that the mudras are part of that. So helping bring our awareness to the 3 parts of the chest that we'll be focusing on expanding, and the 3 parts of the lung that we will be focusing on expanding. This particular mudra is called Purna Svara Mudra. And we take our pinky finger and we bring it to the base of the thumb. The ring finger comes to the joint of the thumb. And then the middle finger rests on the top of the thumb. I will bring the picture up closer to the camera so that you can see what it looks like. Let's see if I can get closer here. So hopefully we're not working with arthritis or any discomfort with the joints. I find this mudra feels a little bit awkward for me, but I'm going to give it a try and see if I notice any change in my awareness. The palms or the backs of the hands will rest on the legs. So there's no effort involved in, activating the muscles of the arms. So again, pinky comes to the base of the thumb, ring finger to the mid joint, and then middle finger to the top. The pointer finger is extended. The shoulders draw forward, down, and back. And begin to settle into the posture. Feel your sits bones pressing into the earth. Today, if you're working with any weakness with the back or the core, you can always practice the centering with support from the floor by lying completely on your back. The legs can be extended, or the knees can be bent with the feet resting on the earth. The goal is to have a lengthened spine as we center our bodies. As you hold Purna Svara Mudra, take several natural breaths to attune to all of the feelings and sensations awakened by this gesture. Notice how your breath flows freely from the base of your body all of the way to your neck, and then smoothly back down again. Sense your inhalation awakening each area of your body sequentially, beginning with your lower body, flowing up to your chest, and then finally filling your collarbones, shoulders, and neck. As you exhale, sense your wave of breath flowing downward, instilling a sense of deep release in your collarbones and your chest. And finally, allowing your abdomen to be drawn inward completely. Take some time to attune to the soft wave-like motion of your breath, flowing throughout your entire being, naturally cultivating a sense of integration and harmony. As your wave of breathing flows more freely, you naturally become more sensitive to the expansion of breath in each part of your lungs. Lower lungs, middle lungs, and upper lungs. I'm pointing to my shoulders, but really our lungs, front body, we can feel them on the side, we can feel them on the back, we can feel them expand everywhere. As you inhale, sense the base of your lungs expanding, followed by the middle of the lungs, and finally filling the very tops of the lungs. Sense your exhalation by releasing the air gradually, beginning at the top, emptying the middle lungs, and finally releasing the air from the base of the lungs completely. Take several breaths and sense your wave of breath nourishing the back, front, and sides of your body evenly, distilling an overall feeling of fullness and vitality. As your wave of breath flows more easily, any blockages in your breathing are released naturally, allowing vital energy to flow freely throughout your entire being. Take some time to sense your complete breathing, instilling integration and harmony throughout all areas of your lungs and parts of your body. Affirm your free breathing, either repeating the following 3 times or allowing my words to wash over you. Attuned to my complete breathing, I experience greater integration and harmony. Attuned to my complete breathing, I experience greater integration and harmony. Attuned to my complete breathing, I experience greater integration and harmony. Slowly release the gesture, the Purna Svara Mudra, and take several breaths to integrate completely the effects of your full body breathing, the Dirga Pranayama. When you are ready, open your eyes and return slowly and gently with a greater sense of integration and harmony. So there is no right or wrong, whether you felt something different by having the mudra, whether that helped you focus your mind, helped you direct your energy to the torso of the body, to the lungs. It doesn't matter, whatever it is, it is. Just notice. Part of what I like the most about Kripalu style yoga is we practice just noticing. That's how we cultivate mindfulness. It's almost as if we have a witness, a little part of our consciousness outside of ourselves, just noticing sensations, noticing thoughts, noticing feelings, noticing without judgment. Part of mindful movement and mindful breathing is to help align our body and our spirit and our mind. One of the things that's most important about practicing regular stretching is it helps to decrease our muscular pain. It helps to improve our range of motion, which can help with our functional movements, our day-to-day movements. It can help improve our posture. And we might even notice it carries over and helps with our balance, both our balance practice on our mats and off of our mats. Also, as we experience less tension in the body from practicing mindful breathing as well as mindful stretching, we will feel a sense of improved mood and a sense of emotional well-being. So if you only have 10 minutes a day for a yoga practice, then the invitation is to let it be maybe 5 minutes of mindful breathing and maybe just a few minutes of mindful stretching, either as you wake up in the morning or as you end your day. That's my goal that I'm working on, rather than setting a goal and setting myself up for failure by saying, oh, I'm going to practice 30 minutes a day. Maybe just say, I'm going to practice mindful breathing and stretching 10 minutes a day. And then sometimes just rolling out my mat right before bed and just doing a few minutes of stretching turns into a 30-minute practice without even trying. Okay, as we begin our physical practice, the eyes can stay open or the eyes can float closed, helping to draw the attention inward. Find a tall spine as you inhale, and then exhale. We'll begin a few basic sun breaths. Inhale, reaching up. If it feels good, you can take the gaze up toward the hands. And inhale. And exhale. This time, stop halfway, bring the arms forward, interlace the fingers, and press away as you round your spine and gaze down at your navel. Inhale, allow the arms to come up. If interlacing the fingers doesn't feel good, then you don't have to interlace the fingers. Exhale, arms come down. If it's available to you, interlace the fingers behind you as you draw the knuckles down towards your tailbone. If that doesn't feel good, you can use a sweatshirt or a towel. You can hold on to something to help you draw the shoulder blades together and draw the knuckles down. If you're feeling any discomfort in the knees and hips, find a different position or use some props to support you. So you can always put a few books or some rolled towels underneath you so that the knees are supported and there's no pressure on the hips. Inhale, arms come forward. Press away as you round the spine. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, arms come down. And last time here. This time, bring the arms forward, press your forearms together, and begin to wake up the wrists. And if anything that I offer doesn't feel good, if there's any pain, then please stop. There should never be any pain, only sensation. And then let's do a few big shoulder rolls, taking the shoulders forward, down, and back. So we have lots of great yoga teachers at the JCC, and Alan Franzi has some great classes that focus on positional therapy and proper alignment of the body. So check out his classes on the schedule. Also on the internet, there are some free resources with Lee Albert, one of my favorite positional therapists, who talks about pain-free living without drugs and without surgery. Although there's a place for that with everything. Beautiful. Allow your chin to drop down to your chest. Just going as far as feels comfortable, finding your pain-free range of motion. And then take the gaze up. Again, going just as far as feels comfortable for your body. And then take the gaze over the right shoulder, never forcing, never trying to get anywhere. Sending the breath into the parts of the muscles where you're feeling sensation the most. And then take the ear and allow it to drop toward the right shoulder. The right hand comes up, fingertips by the temples. And without pulling or tugging, just gently help draw the ear down toward the shoulder. And notice where you feel a stretch. You'll probably feel it in the side of the neck, all the way down through the side body, and maybe even down toward the lower back. If you're looking for more sensation, you can creep the fingers away from the side of the body in your opposite arm. If that's too much sensation, you can just keep your hand right on your lap. And then cradling your cheek in your hand, allow the head to come up and switch sides. And again, if your arm isn't long enough to reach the earth, you can bring your arm to a block or some books. And send your breath into the parts of the body where you're feeling this sensation the most. And then cradling the cheek in the hand, slowly come on back up. Beautiful. Let's start to make some bigger movements in the upper body. Hands can come to the legs as you gently move the body forward. And again, you decide on what feels good for your body. So you can add the shoulders, make the movements as big or as small as feels comfortable for your body. And then take those movements in the opposite direction. Beautiful. And then inhale, the arms come up, right arm comes down to the earth, left arm reaches up, and exhale, fold. Let your gaze come to where it feels natural, either straight ahead, down at the earth, or maybe the gaze rotates up toward the elbow crease. And then switch sides. Inhale through center and exhale, fold. You can hold each one of these stretches in stillness, or you can flow back and forth from side to side. Inviting any little micro movements that would feel good for your body. So I'm just your tour guide. This is your practice. So if there's something that you want to do, any little movements you want to add, feel free. And last time, each side. My body always wants to move forward in this, and the goal is to try to keep the stretch in the side of the body. But having said that, my body always wants to move forward and make more of a flowy, sweeping movement. So again, if that's what feels good for your body, there really is no right or wrong as long as you're keeping yourself safe. And now we'll add a twist. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, right arm comes behind you, left arm comes to the front. Inhale through center and exhale, twist. And this time, let your hands come down through heart center. Okay, we're gonna make our way to our hands and knees. If you have cranky knees, you can always add extra padding. If you have an extra mat at home, you can always double up your mats or crisscross your mats. I'm using an extra towel here for some extra padding. Your knees are about hip distance apart, which is about 2 fists. Your shoulders are stacked over your wrists. Spread the fingers wide, pressing evenly into the fleshy part of your palms. And your toes can be touching the floor, or you can curl the toes. For me, that's a bit too much of a stretch. I feel the stretch in all of my abdominals too intensely at this stage of my warming up. So I'm going to keep my toes connected to the earth. As I inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And then exhale, round the spine and look down toward your navel. Inhale, belly drops. And feel sensation, feel the stretch in all of the abdominal muscles. Exhale, round. Inhale, belly drops. And exhale, round. So for those people that are looking for more heat, you can curl your toes and hover the knees about 2 inches off the floor as you practice your cat-cows. So depending on how much intensity you're looking for. And then if you'd like to try a little bit more intense sensation in the inside of your arms, you can turn your fingertips inward. And again, there should be no pain. There should be no burning. If that doesn't feel good, don't do it. And then you can hold in stillness, or you can practice your cat-cows, dropping your belly and rounding your spine. So we tend to lengthen the muscles on the backs of our bodies with lots of forward folds, and we tend to shorten the muscles on the front of our body, forgetting about those. So I really like to practice stretches like this where I'm not used to feeling sensation in those shorter muscles. You can always come up onto the knuckles if you're feeling sensitivity in your wrists. And you can also add some extra cushion by rolling up a mat and using that for support. Now, as we come back into child's pose, I like to bring some type of support here. You can use a regular pillow if you need some support, and you can keep your knees together or your knees can come apart. That will allow for some more spaciousness here for breathing. The forehead comes down to the earth, or if that's not available to you, bring the earth closer to you. The goal of child's pose is a place of rest, a place of safety. And again, bring the awareness into the parts of the body that you're sending your breath. Feel the upper back, the mid back, and the lower back as you draw the breath into the body, even though the belly's constricted. And then slowly come on back up. Beautiful. Okay, a few stretches for the legs. I'm going to fold my towel to bring my hips higher than my knees. And you can always bring a folded blanket underneath your knees. You can also use straps to help reach the feet. The feet stay flexed to help protect the hamstrings and the knees. And we'll sit up nice and tall. The hands can slowly slide down and then slowly come on back up. Slowly slide down, letting the hinge come from the hip crease. And last time. If you're just waking up your hamstrings, you don't have to go very far to feel pretty intense sensations. And if you're not working with any shoulder injuries, you can use gravity to help bring you into this stretch. Come on down as you exhale. Inhale, draw the breath in. And then exhale, coming forward from the hip crease. Inhale and exhale. So you'll feel all the muscles in your back body lengthening as you come forward. You'll feel all the muscles in your hamstrings lengthening. And last time, inhale. Beautiful. Now bring the feet together. And if you need some support, you can use some books or pillows to help support the knees. And open your feet as if they were a book. You can make little pulsing movements here. So you should feel stretch here in your adductor muscles. And if you would like, you can slowly come forward. Always an option for more restorative sensation to have several pillows here or blocks, which will allow you to bring your forehead down. We usually recommend holding for 3 full cycles of breath. Deep inhale and exhale. And then slowly come on up. There are all different types of yoga practices, and in Yin Yoga, we practice holding the postures for much longer periods of time to allow the muscles time to really deeply relax and lengthen. This time, draw your right knee into your chest. The foot comes to inside the knee, and allow the leg to come out to the side. Again, you can use your blocks for support, keeping the foot flexed on the extended leg. And you can slowly creep your hands down, sitting up tall, letting the hinge come from the hip crease, and let your hands rest whenever you come to that place where you're feeling resistance, and not forcing the body, not trying to get anywhere, just allowing the stretch, focusing on sensation. You can always bring your hands to blocks. And if you have a strap or a belt, you can always use a belt and place it around the fleshy part of the foot. One of the things I like to think about is my 2 dogs. And the first thing that they do when they wake up in the morning is a stretch. They do a little puppy pose, a little back bend before they even try to walk. And they never go past their safe range of motion. It doesn't seem like they ever pull their muscles or hurt themselves like we do. And slowly come on up. Extend the leg if you need to give it a little wiggle, and then we'll switch sides. Draw the opposite knee to the chest. And you'll notice differences from one side of the body to the other, so just honoring the asymmetries of the body, keeping the foot flexed, square your hips forward, and again, slowly creeping the hands down, not forcing. For those people that have more length right now, or maybe longer hamstrings, or a regular practice where they're able to stretch further, you can hold the feet with the hands. You could crisscross your arms and hold the foot, or maybe even interlace the fingers and hold the foot. So again, honoring your body where it is in this moment. Even though the belly's constricted, practicing that 3-part breath, the Dirga Pranayama. And then slowly come on up. This time we'll bring both legs out. Adjust yourself if you need to. And we'll come into a wide angle forward fold, hinging from the hip crease, just going as far as feels comfortable for your body. And again, you can always stack your props so that the forehead can rest. If you're feeling any discomfort in the knees, you can always wrap some blankets or towels and offer support. If you're working with back sensitivity, you can practice these stretches on your back using the support from the floor. You can also practice these from a standing position. Usually we stay seated on our mats for a more gentle practice. Okay, let's come on to our hands and knees. I'm just going to grab some tissues here. Okay. I'll turn to the side. And then step forward with the right leg. If you need blocks, you can use blocks here. And now we're going to bring some stretch into the top of our legs because we've done a nice job stretching the back. So now let's go ahead and lengthen the tops of the legs. It's okay if the knee comes over the toes. You'll notice my knees coming over. And then slowly walk back and hinge the torso toward the leg without locking the knee. Again, just going as far as feels comfortable, not wanting to injure the knee or the hamstrings, not wanting to overstretch. Right now, our focus is more on the top of the leg. And then coming forward, pressing down, dropping the shoulders and lifting the gaze. Inhale and exhale. And last time. And then we'll switch sides, stepping forward with the other leg. Beautiful. Drop the shoulders, lift the chest, lift the gaze, and you should feel a pretty intense stretch along the top muscle on your leg that's behind you. Coming forward. Inhale. Again, bring your awareness and your breath to the parts of your body where you're feeling sensation the most. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then step back into tabletop. We're going to make our way onto our bellies now. Just a few stretches now to open up and lengthen the muscles on the front of the body as we strengthen the muscles on the back of our body. So if you need some extra padding, especially if you're feeling sensitive here with these two bones, give yourself some extra padding. And we'll start off just by completely lowering ourselves and getting as long as we can, wriggling through the fingers and the feet. And then from here, we're going to either press our chin on the floor and open our throat, or press our forehead on the floor. So you could do either chin or forehead. Engage all of your abdominal muscles. So as if you were tying a corset around yourself or shrink wrapping yourself. And you can also imagine drawing your abdominal muscles in towards your tailbone, but you're going to be engaging all of them as you press your pubic bone into the earth. Lift your left leg and press out through the toes. Lower the leg and lift your right leg, pressing out through the toes. So you shouldn't feel any pinching or compression in your lower back. because you're just lifting as far as feels comfortable. And alternating from side to side. Now, lift your left leg and lift your right arm. This time, your entire torso lifts up off the earth. Your thumb is facing up, your pinky is down. And we're going for length rather than lift. So reaching out long through the fingertips, reaching out long through the toes. And then slowly lower down, take a full inhale and sigh it out through the mouth. Engage your abdominals and switch sides. So if you can hold for 3 full cycles of breath here, inhale and exhale, go for it. If that just feels too intense, then just do 1 inhale and exhale. Or you can hold for longer. And then pause in between when you come out of the posture for a full inhale, full exhale. Now you can repeat that stretch on both sides, or you can add a stretch. Left hand reaches back to find left foot, and you can always use a strap here if your arm doesn't reach your foot. There shouldn't be any pain in the knee, no burning, no pulling. The knee's going to want to splay out. Try to keep the knee pointing toward the bottom of the mat. And again, you can always tie your strap around your foot if your arm isn't long enough to reach the foot. And then switch sides. Again, shrink wrapping all of those abdominal muscles. And release. Now, if you've practiced bow pose and you want to come into the full expression of that particular stretch, you can by taking hold of both feet and coming into the full stretch. I haven't practiced this particular stretch in so long, I'm not even sure if it's available to me. But I can also, if this is not part of your practice, I'll show you another practice, another posture. For this one, we draw the knees together and we press up by lifting up with our chest and squeezing the legs together. Now I'm going to show you a different variation, and that's called, well, we just actually did it when we practiced the opposite arms, when we practiced boat pose, but you can practice this with just the legs, which is basically a locust. So palms are down, and just like before, we lift one leg and then we lift the other, and then we lift the hands. So this is another way of practicing that bow. It's like a boat pose. And we're reaching out long through our toes, reaching out long through our heads. And it's still lengthening our chest muscles and strengthening our back, but without the same degree of intensity as when we hold the feet. So lots of options here. And then slowly come on out, whatever posture you're in, and rest your cheek. Bend your knees, and you can do the windshield wipers. And then turn on the other cheek. Beautiful. And for our last back bend, I'd like to offer Sphinx Pose. With Sphinx Pose, we bring our fingers into the shape of an L, draw the shoulders down and lift the chest and lift the gaze so that it's slightly in front of your mat. We're pressing the pubic triangle into the earth. There shouldn't be sensation or pinching in the lower back, just a even sensation in the upper back, mid back, and low back. So this is my first go-to stretch when I want just a gentle stretch for the muscles in the front of my chest and a gentle strengthening of the back muscles. We could practice a baby cobra, an up dog. We could practice these same types of movements, but using the floor for support, in which case we would be practicing either a fish pose or maybe a bridge pose. And then slowly come on down. And to release any tension that might be in the lower back, same thing. You can allow the legs to go from side to side, or European windshield wiper them. And then for our final posture for today, I'd like to just offer a restorative bridge pose. If you don't enjoy bridge pose, then perhaps you can take your legs up the wall, or if you have a chair handy, one of my favorite ways to end my yoga practice is to have a chair, and the legs can just rest on the chair, just like that. So that's a great way to give your heart a rest. Let the blood flow out of the legs into, to give the heart a break. The heart's always pumping the blood toward the feet. If you don't have a chair handy and you're willing to try bridge pose, the feet walk towards the buttocks and you press up evenly. I'm going to keep my gaze straight ahead so I don't strain my neck, looking side to side. And then a block can come underneath your sacrum, either flat here, or maybe you go a little bit higher. And your palms are down, your chin is tucked, and your gaze is straight up toward the ceiling to protect your neck. You can experiment with how far apart your feet are. They're usually hip distance, and you can experiment with the position of your knees. So you don't want any discomfort here. I usually engage the inner thighs and draw the legs together, but you can allow the knees to spread further apart if that helps with your comfort. Some people like to bring the hands underneath and interlace the fingers for a more active stretch. But if you want a more restorative pose as you start to cool and calm, just keep the palms resting down. And then as you're ready, press up and slowly release one vertebra at a time. To come into Shavasana Pose, slowly lengthen the legs, or keep your knees bent and let the knees rest on each other. If you're working with back sensitivity, you can always take Shavasana on your side. And begin to release control of your breath. Shavasana is our final resting posture. It's a time when we integrate all of the movement that has come before, letting the benefits of your practice settle into the body as you feel the relaxation, as you feel maybe a little bit of energized sensations. maybe warmth, maybe tingling. It's a time to let the body to remember what it feels like to fully relax. Ooh. Sorry, buddy. Let your body feel heavy, warm, and fully supported by the earth. Allow the tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth and release any tension that might remain in the jaw, the forehead, and even the scalp. Begin to bring the awareness back into the space. Begin to deepen your inhalations and begin to invite any movement back into the body that would feel natural. If you need a few more moments of relaxation, you can stay right where you are. Otherwise, make your way onto the side of your body. And then as you're ready, place one palm into the earth and bring yourself to a seated position. The eyes can stay closed or allow the eyes to float open. And then draw the hands to heart center, and with a slight bow to yourself, honoring your dedication to your wellness and your yoga journey. Thank you for the privilege of sharing your yoga practice with me and for allowing me to draw forth that which is already within you. You are perfect and you are whole, and you have all of the tools that you need within you to help align the body, the mind, and the spirit. And then drawing the hands to the forehead, you can either allow my words to wash over you, or we can share a namaste. Namaste.